Hello, just a quick update on what's been happening on the golf course over the past couple of weeks. We have been deep in autumn aeration throughout the entire golf course, and just a little explanation as to what has been going on. So on Monday the 23rd, we hollow cored the blue and the red course with a 10 mil side eject tine. Last year we had trialled on the red course, having a contractor come in collecting cores for us, and we found it was so efficient that we integrated it into this year's plan. The core collector is ideal because it frees up team members to allow us get top dressing the greens really quickly. It frees us up to roll the greens before we actually get machinery on them to stop rutting and to try and get the surfaces back as smooth as possible, as quick as possible. After all the cores were collected and the greens were rolled, we then top dress greens. Over the 19 holes, we overall applied 22 ton of sand into these and brushed and worked into all the holes. The team then applied fertiliser, a granular fertiliser to the greens. It was a 6027 fertiliser, which is 6% nitrogen and 27% potassium. This low nitrogen rate allows for recovery quickly and is slow released over a 6 to 8 week period. The potassium is used as a winter defense against disease. It hardens off the leaf and protects against disease during stressful periods of time. This was applied to all greens in anticipation of us carrying out dry ejecting as a trial on the yellow course and the two chipping greens. Dry ejecting is a different form of aeration where machines come in and they punch a hole in the green using pressurized water, and the hole is instantly filled with sand. The benefit of dry ejecting over a hollow coring is we can adjust the depth of the aeration hole. So for instance, we aimed to punch holes to approximately 6 inches, which is 2 inches deeper than we normally aerate to. During this process, we injected approximately 10 tons of sand into the 11 greens between the yellow course and the two chipping greens. This was followed the next day by top dressing the greens just to top off any holes, and again rolling and brushing in sand. A big thanks to Ground Force and Brendan Ryan. We organised 8 of the Ground Force members to come in on 2 separate shifts, where the goal was to keep the dry eject machines full and topped up with sand as much as possible. The weather on the day was absolutely horrendous, and I'm sure all of Ground Force went home and had a shower after their breakfast bap, but it's really appreciated from myself and the greenkeeping team. Thank you very much. Overall, through the aeration process, we applied approximately 41 tons of sand on the putting surface. This will have great benefits in reducing organic matter, for winter firmness, and increasing percolation rate of water through the putting surface. The goal now for the greens throughout the winter period is to manage disease. This will be done through moisture management on the leaf and the use of micronutrients and turf hardening products. Regular needle tine aeration will continue throughout the winter period, and this will allow for rapid flow of water through the putting surface, which will keep the root system and the leaf as dry as possible. Aeration hasn't just been happening on the greens. Over the past month, we have been shockwave aerating the fairways and outplaying areas on the golf course. To date, we have aerated 21.5 hectares, and we now are going from fairways to all the high traffic areas. So pathways have all been completed, but pinch points around greens where we would normally have ropes out, these areas are getting shockwaved as well, just again to ensure percolation rate and rapid water movement from the surface down into the drainage systems. Turf density is something that we like to encourage for the winter period. If we have thick, lush grass, it will take winter wear, and it will also help us in our ever battle against worm casting and smearing of the worm casts. With this in mind, we applied a granular fertiliser to, again, 21.5 hectares of surfaces throughout the golf course. Heights of cut have also been increased to allow for the winter wear and to encourage turf density throughout the course. Fairways have been increased from 14 to 18 mil, and tees and approaches have been increased from 10 mil to 12 mil. Greens also increased from 3 mil to 3.5 mil. All of the works previously mentioned have massive benefits towards keeping the golf course open as much as possible and producing really high standards throughout the incoming winter period. We are now entering leaf season, which is challenging for golfers and greenkeepers alike. Our goal is to clear the golfing corridor as quickly as possible ahead of golf, and this will be ongoing daily over the next few months. Lastly, as we enter the autumn period, ground conditions are naturally going to soften up, and pitch marks will always be challenging, especially when growth rates are low. So if I could encourage all golfers to repair your own pitch marks and maybe an extra pitch mark or two on the greens, it'll be a massive benefit to all enjoying the greens. Thanks for listening, and here's to a dry winter period, hopefully.